All right. Well, if you remember from a previous video, I picked up this snapper Comet and unloaded it and looked it over and cleaned it up, and it turned out to be in much, much better shape than I was expecting. It looks really great. So, before I was going to do any restoration, I wanted to make sure I got the engine running and get the whole thing operating the way it should be before I tackle the restoration. So I decided to work on the engine first. So let's get started. So I'm going to take this whole thing off, and I'm going to have to clean this out anyway, and then we'll clean up around here and see if we can find out what's going on. See, I already disconnected the fuel. Actually broke off the filter. So you can see the Briggs & Stratton. This, man, it is really hard to read. I'm hoping I can clean some of this stuff off and be left with enough to read what's on here. I don't know about that. It looks like it's half eaten through, half rusted through. Yeah, so you can see I'm using some evapor rust, and I'm just wetting down a towel and letting it sit on the spot that I'm trying to clear the rust off of. And I figure I'd do that while I'm working on the rest of the engine. I'm sure I'm going to take the cowl off, but at least for the time being, maybe we'll be able to see something underneath. Alright. I'm just going to let all that soak. Alright, in the meantime, let's take a look at the spark plug. Yep, even the spark plug is pretty old. Check that out. It's an old champion. How long has it been since you've seen something like that? And let's take a look at the filter. Yeah, it's just old, and if you push on it, it's just going to crumble. It's going into dust. So, but down inside, from here the carburetor looks okay. It's just the outside. I'm just glad that you can see they had the shut-off valve on the gas actually shut off. I'm assuming it's been shut off like that since the 80s, like the guy said. I might just go ahead and drain the oil, take the carburetor off, clean it, take this off, finish getting all the rust off of this. I might as well tear into it and clean it up, right? I know it's not going to start right away. So, and my confidence is high that that I will be able to get it started. So it was the start of another day, and decided to work on the carburetor this time. Um, and it wasn't bad. It just, just took everything off and inspected to see how what condition it's going to be in. Crack it open and see what's going on in there. And I'm sure, I just fixed up my ultrasonic cleaner, so it was ready to go. And then came the ignition coil, and I was going to take it off, and I was going to check out the points and all that good stuff. But I was thinking that it's an easy upgrade, and it'll probably run a lot better. So I just decided I'm just going to take it off, disconnect all the wiring and everything, and replace it with an upgraded ignition coil. So I decided while I'm working on everything else, I'm just going to drain the oil and just let it drip. And then I can work on the ignition and clean up the carburetor. So I was going to crack this sucker open and see what it looks like on the inside. Wow, I was expecting a lot worse. Just some rust, so that's kind of good. I was always curious about this because I know the fuel line, the fuel hose had it, the valve was shut, so it didn't fill up with crap. I guess a lesson learned, huh? This is 30 plus years, 40 years or so of it just sitting there. But I guess this stuff I can just get it all cleaned up on the outside, get all the rust off of this, and it might be good to go. Alright, so while this is heating up, I'm going to take this carburetor apart. Not a whole lot. I just hope I don't ruin this gasket that's in there. I almost don't want to poke it out or I'll risk tearing it, but hopefully this cleaner is not going to damage it. And everything else looks like these are the two adjustments here that I need to worry about. Yeah, I'll just wait out. Alright. Well, not bad. It all the dirt's off of it. It looks pretty clean, but it looks like there's just some leftover paint, which I'm going to repaint it anyway, I suppose. So the new coil came in, so all I had to do was hook up that ground wire. I had to put a new end on it, crimped it on, and was able to mount the new ignition coil. Had an unusually large, long spark plug wire cable, but still works. So I just mounted it and properly gapped it and everything, and I just used a product tag. It's about the same width of a business card, but I got a ton of them, so that's what I use them for. And then after I mounted the carburetor, it was I was checking all the linkage for the throttle, and it seemed kind of sticky, a lot of rust in there, and so I sprayed it down so I can get a better feeling throttle, and the choke was really tight, but I think I really need to look at the cables too and try to free those up, and then just putting the cowl back on and get everything ready to start, including putting fresh oil in it. And instead, because I was cleaning out the other tank, so I pulled out this auxiliary tank that I use quite a bit on other stuff, and I just hooked that up and try to get it situated so that so it'll still be gravity fed and all that good stuff. So it was kind of a tight squeeze in there, but at least I was able to position it where it was somewhat steady, but just filled it up with gas and it was ready to go. Well, that was freaking awesome. Now we know the transmission is working fine. Before I thought it was stuck. I just wasn't pushing in the clutch over here on the left. So looks like it's going forward and reverse, and it can definitely do a wheelie. and I checked the blade on the mowing deck. You put it in and it tightened up. The blade's turning. Everything looks good. But you can see here, even the belt, I'm going to replace that. It's cracking up all over the place, so I'm sure it's about to bust. So I guess that's the next thing, is the mowing deck. I'm going to turn this thing on its up end, on its rear end, and now I'll change the belt, check out the blade, and sharpen it, do whatever it needs. I don't know. I think the blade's in pretty good shape, actually. And what else? And I'll double check the tranny here and just clean it up and make sure it's doing fine. Alright, I am very pleased with that. It's the engine's running, still needs a little tune-up, a little tuning on the carburetor, but you can tell it's running real strong. The transmission's engaging. And man, if I really tried, I know it can do a wheelie still. And it was trying to do it, and I was just in what, second, and the throttle wasn't even all the way up. And what else? The mowing deck is turning. It just needs a new belt. So I guess the next thing. So now that I know it's running, I'm going to service the rest of it, service the mowing deck, put a new blade on it. Not blade, I don't know if it needs a blade or not, but I'll sharpen them, put a new belt, double check the tranny and make sure everything's geared and lubed the way it should. And other than that, I will probably be mowing with it until I decide to do a restore. I'm kind of busy with a lot of stuff right now, so it's, restoring is more of a long-term project, right? But anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I got all excited here, but I guess that is it for this video. So as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch my next video. Well, I hope this is the right belt. When I stretch it out, it seems a little shorter than the original one and a little thicker. Yeah, I'll have to look this up. They might have sent me the wrong. I mean, it's not that big of a difference, but we're talking about an inch or two. And this looks like a ½ inch on this one and a 5/8 on this one, right?